electricity shut down in my city, so sorry. Yeah, I can start. Yeah. How many time I have? 1 hour. Yeah. Okay. 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 Let's start. Topic for today. It's .NET development of modern application and OpenAI integration. Mostly, I wanted to talk about C# and .NET and different frameworks on .NET, and about OpenAI integration. I will.
Just to close, Сергій, можна поділитися екраном у вигляді, і тоді буде нам видно не просто весь, ну, як дизайн, а просто презентацію буде видно. Там, де вигляд. Yeah, here, thank you.
No, I will switch screen between Visual Studio and between unit presentation. So okay, yeah. No, presentation it's maybe not very interesting. Just yeah. So simple sentences to highlight my current speech. But yeah, anyway, today I wanted to talk about C#. I don't know, are you familiar with C# and .NET framework and the .NET libraries? But anyway, I wanted to talk about C# as it's a very powerful language for today. Also about .NET, what is .NET, what framework has .NET, because .NET currently covers a lot of area. And right now you can develop any kind of application using C# and .NET, because yeah, right now .NET is cross-platform framework, and it allows you to develop any kind of application. I will demonstrate simple application created by Visual Studio and with support Docker container. Yeah, we will create simple web API application with Docker support and a quick introduction and OpenAI and API for OpenAI. It's image generation and text generation, and very simple example how we can integrate Windows WinUI desktop application with OpenAI API for generation images. That's plan for today. So okay, I will continue with C#. What is C# is powerful programming language developed by Microsoft as part of its .NET initiative. Since introduction in 2000, C# has become a popular choice for developers. As Microsoft said, millions of developers continue to use .NET. So yeah, it's a good sign. It's very popular language and platform. C# is widely used for creating variety of application, desktop, web, mobile application, game. I think you know about Unity framework. C# offers blend of high-level feature with the precision of lower-level languages, making a key player in both enterprise and consumer software. Yeah, no, it's important. Yeah, .NET, like Java, has a lot of support from different services to integrate with, and also Microsoft with .NET provide a lot of functionality to develop cloud application. I'm talking about Azure and Azure libraries, special libraries for developing cloud native application. Also, C#, it's cross-platform general purpose language that makes a developer productive while writing highly performant code. based on object-oriented principles, C# incorporates many features from other paradigms, not least functional programming, but low-level features support high-efficiency scenario without writing unsafe code. Most of .NET runtime and libraries are written in C# and advanced in C# often benefit for all .NET developers. C# is an object-oriented programming language, and main principle, as you know, it's abstraction. It's modeling the relevant attributes and interactions of entity as classes to define an abstraction representation of a system. Encapsulation, hiding the internal state and functionality of an object. Inheritance, its ability to create new abstraction based on existing abstractions. No, it's standard principle for any object-oriented language. But anyway, also important C# features, it can be .NET runtimes, automatic memory management. You don't need to manage memory by hand. .NET does it instead of you. C# applications also use runtime libraries provided by .NET SDK. Some components are platform independent, like file system libraries, data collection, mass libraries. Other are specific to single workload, like ASP.NET Core web libraries or universal Windows platform application or WPF application. It's a framework for creation desktop applications. C# is in C family of languages. C# syntax is familiar if you have used C, C++, JavaScript, or Java. Yeah. Like all languages in C family, semicolons define the end of statements. C# identifier are insensitive. C# has the same use of braces, control statement like if, else, switch, and looping construct like for and while. C# also is a strongly typed language. C# use exceptions to report and handle errors. If you'll be familiar with this practice if you use C++ or Java. Also, C# has C# has less familiar things like LINQ, it's language integrated query. It's quite powerful tools in C#. C# support task-based asynchronous programming model. You can use async await syntax in C#. And last version of C# provides pattern matching. Maybe you know it's a new version of switch construct, like in Java. So about .NET technology. .NET is free cross-platform open source developer platform for building many kinds of applications, as I said. It can run programs written in multiple languages, with C# being the most popular, as I said. Last and main .NET, it's .NET Core. It's last version, it's modern .NET, cross-platform and open source implementation. It's recommended for now. The .NET Framework, it's previous version, it's original version of .NET, but currently it's in support mode mostly, because .NET Framework works only on Windows platform. And currently, Microsoft only supports this. .NET, it's its main. Also, Microsoft supports Mono and Xamarin platform, but it's mainly used for develop Android, iOS, macOS desktop application. it's also continue to use, but anyway, I think main of .NET, it's .NET Core for now. Yeah, .NET Core was introduced by Microsoft as redesign older .NET framework, as I said, and addressing the many of limitation. Current .NET, it's 8, currently 8 is stable. Yeah. Support macOS, Linux, Windows, and allow you to create cross-platform web services, cross-platform desktop applications using multi-application platform UI, for example. Also, .NET platform has been designed to deliver productivity, performance, security, and reliability. This provide automatic memory management via garbage collector. It's type safe and memory safe due to using garbage collector and strict language compilers. .NET is maintained by Microsoft and by big community. It's regularly updated to ensure users deploy secure and reliable applications to production. So yeah, from point of view of vulnerabilities, .NET it's very reliable as well. .NET also I wanted to talk about components of .NET. .NET include the following. It's runtime. Runtime executes application code. Libraries provides utility functionality like JSON parsing. Compiler compiles C# or other languages. Other languages, it's F# or Visual Basic. But anyway, C# it's most popular than other. Yeah, compiler compiles C# source code into executable code, SDK and other tools. It's enable building and monitoring applications with modern workflow. Application stack, I will talk in detail a bit later, but yeah, it's different libraries like ASP.NET Core or Windows Form that enable writing applications. Also, wanted to show you what IDE or tools currently we have for learning and developing C# and .NET. My recommendation and my preference it's Visual Studio 2022 because it supports all kinds of application and some framework which used only on Windows, like Windows Presentation Foundations, WPF, and Universal Windows Program. It's a Microsoft-specific framework. Today I will show you one of such framework to develop simple application to connect to OpenAI REST service. I will demonstrate you. Yeah, it's Visual Studio. Yeah, currently just an example to create simple application. Example. Let's create some. Yeah, currently you see that .NET Visual Studio is quite powerful. Visual Studio propose you to create project with using Docker container support, HTTPS for web service. You can run your application on Linux or Windows using Docker. Yeah, you can add different functionality. Currently, you see master for creation web API application. So for demonstration, yeah, it's create a project which provides you from scratch .NET application and which builds Docker containers from scratch. Yeah, if you build solution, you get Docker image and can reuse it, and you don't need any additional work to start to add support to your project. Example, from scratch, it's already working in Docker container. Yeah, you need to do some additional setup for your Visual Studio. No, you need to set up Docker desktop because Studio, yeah, need to use some Docker tooling. But yeah, for now we have REST API on Linux platform, but we run it from Visual Studio, and we can use debug from Visual Studio on Linux platform. It's very powerful, as you can see. So another one tool, very popular. I think you know about it. It's Visual Studio Code. My preference to use Visual Studio because maybe for first step, for some debugging, for easy learning and discovering new technology, new framework, Visual Studio help you because they have some very good IntelliSense support, good support of different framework. Visual Studio Code, it's maybe more code editor than IDE in full sense. So it's more for low-level development because you can see all project file in text format and so on. But it's these two studios are developed by Microsoft and good very support, and they're still in very active development phase. Yeah. Also, Visual Studio Code working for Windows, for Mac, for Linux. Visual Studio support now. Microsoft supporting it for macOS, but the recommendation to move to Visual Code if you develop your .NET application on Mac. Another interesting tool, it's web-based tool. It's Visual Studio Code for web. Maybe you also know and use it. I'll show you. Yeah, it's Visual Code. As you know, yeah, you have web version of this editor. It works in browser, and you don't need, in this case, you don't need to install any toolset to your local desktop. Yeah, you can work from browser. They have the same functionalities you have with your Visual Studio Code on local desktop. More interesting web IDE. It's GitHub code space. Yeah. Also, I already opened it. GitHub propose this idea for you. It support some virtual machine underneath, and you can see that's MVC application, complex MVC application from two parts. It's backend and frontend. You can see it on REST API, very similar to I built right now in Visual Studio, but this application works in browser, and you can use all tooling to debug it, to run it on browser. It's from GitHub. You can see it on backend, front-end parts. So it's absolutely absolutely full support of develop an MVC application, including complex single app. It's it's template example. I didn't add any additional functionality, but yeah, for now you can run it. It works. It's also very useful. You don't need, in this case, you don't need to install anything for your local machine. Also, you can work from browser. You don't need powerful PC or laptop. I'll try to run to demonstrate how it works. It was just a demo. We will build. I think it's because I tried to run several instances. Okay. You can use any frameworks. Currently, it's running. It's because it's your application built on some containers under the hood, and you can debug and test your application browser. So okay, continue with. Also, not only Microsoft provides editors in IDE for develop C# code, also you can use some JetBrains toolset. It's Rider, it's very popular as well, and ReSharper, but ReSharper is extension for Visual Studio. Unfortunately, if some Visual Studio propose some free edition, some community edition for studios, but JetBrains, it's commercial products. You need to buy it. Also, another one interesting tool to learn C#. It's Polyglot Notebook. It's extension for, maybe also know, it's adoption from Microsoft for Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter, it's maybe for some math work and so on. It's special format of file. It's snippet of different language, included C#, and you can use it to programming just some simple things, and you don't need create console program or desktop program. You just work with C# construction, different constructions, and some run it and check how it works. So, for example, also right. Just for example, it works. It's very, from my perspective, it's very useful for learning new .NET language syntaxes and so on. You can add and you can add additional section. You can comment like in Markdown format, for example. You can drag and drop section, and you use Visual Studio Code for this. Several blocks, Markdown blocks, for example. Example exception, for example. Like this. Interesting. It's very compact and need additional project creation. You can to be focused on current constructing learning. Next, about applications with C# and .NET. Microsoft has categorized all applications to this. It's one of structure how we can categorize application. It's cloud applications, client application, and some other application types. I want to talk about each of category in short. .NET Aspire. It's bunch of NuGet, bunch of libraries or NuGet packages. It's NuGet. It's package management for C# and .NET. .NET Aspire is a bunch of application. It's a cloud-ready stack for building observable, production-ready, and distributed application delivered through collection of NuGet packages. It handles specific cloud-native concern. And it's libraries for working with cloud-native services on Azure. It's example, Azure Kafka, Azure SQL Server, and so on. It's for cloud applications. A big bunch of library to support it, to support Azure. It's also Cloud Redis, Cloud Postgres, and other cloud tools. Serverless functions. Also, C#.NET has good support of Azure functions. Yeah, it's serverless functionality was built by Microsoft and Azure Cloud. Web and microservices. It's mostly ASP.NET Core framework, which allow you to create different web application. A lot of developers use it. Microsoft introduced it a lot of years ago. Currently, Microsoft ASP.NET Core framework looks like very powerful. A bit later, I create simple application using minimal API approach and some simple connect to database in memory to demonstrate it. But currently, it looks good. Time to time, people ask it. And ask it because they think that .NET is not useful for building websites and web application because they think that they need to write a lot of code, but it's not true. Currently, it's very compact. It's very code very compact. You can start in very fast way to create your simple REST service or your MVC site, or using Razor pages, for example, you can create site without MVC model, but using for example, JavaScript frameworks. ASP.NET Core provides the following benefits: unified story for building web UI and web APIs, architected for testability. For now, Razor Pages, it's a template framework from Microsoft. Razor Pages makes coding page-focused scenarios easier and more productive. Blazor, it's one of kind of web project, lets you use C# in browser alongside JavaScript and share server-side and client-side app logic written with .NET. Blazor can use WebAssembly to build client application. Also, ASP.NET supports ability to develop and run on Windows, macOS, and Linux. It's true cross-platform framework. It's open source and has its community focus. has good integration with modern client-side frameworks like React.js, like Angular, Vue.js, support hosting remote precision call. You can use gRPC from scratch. It's cloud-ready environment-based configuration system. Built-in dependency injection. You don't need additional library for now. You don't need, like previously, maybe, you know, we had Inject, another framework, but for now, Microsoft built own dependency injection framework. You don't need more to use external or some third party. .NET Core, it's lightweight, high performance, modular HTTP request pipeline. Supporting versioning of API also from scratch, and web API applications. Very popular templates for creation. It's model view controller pattern. It's Razor pages. It's Razor markup pro project. About client-side development, yeah, SPA.NET Core includes Blazor for building a rich interactive web UI, and also integrated set with popular frontend. It's Angular, React Vue, and Bootstrap for MVC. You don't need also include some other application. Bootstrap works from scratch. Visual Studio and base template. Okay, it's about web and microservices, clients app. .NET Framework supports mobile development using Xamarin or using multi-application platform UI. Games, it's Unity Framework. It's maybe very famous framework for game development. Desktop applications. Desktop applications, Microsoft always provide very powerful functionality to build desktop. Initially, it was Windows or Windows Forms. It was introduced 20 years ago. Then Microsoft introduced WPF, Windows Presentation Framework, which use XAML markup and actively use MVVM model. Also, currently, .NET also has another more fresh frameworks for UI for desktop development. It's Universal Windows Platform, and it's WinUI desktop based on Windows Application SDK. For example, a bit more about all this framework currently are supported by Microsoft, and you can use any of them to build powerful desktop application. Windows Form UI framework for building Windows desktop provides most productive way to create desktop based on Visual Designer provided in Visual Studio. Yeah, it's you have good WYSIWYG for building your forms and UI by mouse. You don't need programming. You can develop widget from code, but you can also develop UI in Visual Designer without coding. For example, it was benefit in Windows Form framework. Support a lot of different widgets using Win API to show widget. Yeah, it's a Windows only framework, but still still works and still support from Microsoft. Universal Windows Platform Applications is also many way to create client application for Windows. These apps use WinRT API to provide powerful UI and advanced asynchronous features. It should be ideal for internet-connected device, and UWP can be deployed to different kind of platform. It's Windows 10 plus, it's tablet, it's Xbox, and like this. So it's more universal, but for Windows platforms. For development desktop, for cross-platform like Linux and macOS, maybe more. It's different framework. It's MA UI framework. Windows UI library. It's some additional. It's native user experience framework for Windows desktop and UWP applications. It's used Fluent design system. To show you Fluent system, it's design language from Microsoft. I didn't want to copy it to presentation, but it's design language for Microsoft to develop all current application. It covers Windows, web, iOS, Android. It's guidance how to you build UX for any kind of application. For now, to provide customers some beautiful experience. Maybe small example of implementation I have. It's just example from Microsoft. It's special application to demonstrate you powerful of modern gallery of controls. Currently, it can be used by in different frameworks. Yeah, a lot of it's quite new. Looks very fresh look. It looks like very similar in web and in desktop. I try to maybe a good sample. Yeah, it's just guidance how to use and how to use different controls and what components do you have. It's big list of controls, all controls based on XAML language. Yeah, and this gallery should help you to implement this control into your application, because it's a real demo. You can see some XAML markup for creation this control in your application, and you can use design guidance how Microsoft recommends to build your application for provide good UX for customer. Yeah, example how to use typography, colors, icons, what controls, what layout, and so on and so on. In old framework like Windows Forms and on Windows Presentation Framework, yeah, Microsoft doesn't provide such guidance. But it's evolution of Metro. Maybe you remember Microsoft start from Metro. Currently, it's Fluent 2 system. Presentation. It's about desktop. No, console application. It's a simple kind of application just to build cross-platform console applications. It's like any other language or framework. Nothing new. Internet of Things. Some devices like Raspberry Pi supports Linux and some kind of .NET based on Mono, or some based on Mono, and you can build and run a .NET application on some Raspberry Pi device, for example. It's some couple of .NET packages for this. it's some separate, but anyway, let's support Internet of Things. Machine learning, no, it's special framework, maybe ML.NET. It's also open source code platform machine learning framework. You can enable integration of custom machine learning models into .NET applications. Useful if you want to work with machine learning using .NET application and C# language. Windows Worker Service, it's also another one kind of services. Usually it's background service. Microsoft provides separate template for them. And yeah, from scratch, you can build background services to work with maybe some application with processing CPU intensive data, queuing work items in background, performing time-based operation and schedule. Yeah, and you if it makes sense to run at night, for example, yes, you can build such ground service, and it will be running by schedule. Also, very important framework for now, it's entity framework. Maybe not so big like framework for building application, but anyway, it's important part of .NET ecosystem. It's modern object relation mapper that lets you build a clean, portable, and high-level data access layer with .NET across a variety of databases, including SQL database on-premise or on Azure, SQLite, MySQL, PostgreSQL. It supports link query. It provides a lot of functionality. Migration, schema migration, in-memory version of database for local development, and so on. Time for simple demo. Let's create a very simple web service which will work with simple database. It's for demonstrating how simple to start from web services in .NET framework. Okay, I will create new solution. It's ASP.NET Core Web API. Usually, Microsoft .NET templates of project contains a lot of different files, but for now, using minimal API variant of API, we can use one file for creation REST API to work with one entity, for example. We will work without controllers because it simplifies code base. We can use Lambda functions to declare our HTTP methods. It can clean up comments for basic templates. It's example. We can use scaffolding functionality. So currently we need to clean up sample codes from, it's currently empty web services. It doesn't have any endpoints, but we will add it. Okay, we need to, for working with database, we need to install. We can update it. Template contains outdated library. Okay. to install in memory. Entity framework libraries. And from scratch, complete doesn't contain any functionality to work with database. So create simple DB context. It's a unity of work implementation of unity of work pattern with .NET framework and DB text. And all ASP.NET Core project supports dependency injection from scratch. So we can add DB context into our dependency injection container. Okay. Also, we need to add some plain object for any, for example, students. Studio has good intelligence, so you understand what it understands what I want. First name, it's enough for simple example. It can be any number of fields. Also, we need to add DB set. Define public class. And the initial. Currently, we describe that our DB context, it's I'm allowed to connect to database and describe our model. It's enough to create database and table using code first approach and generate our scaffold functionality. Scaffold item. It's can specify you can simplify your life. We can generate in fast way students and point class into program DB context, any DB context model and generating some code base. It's you don't need to write by hand this code. We will get simple functionality to support CRUD operation. Okay. text. We need to add parameterize the constructor. Folding functionality because I still don't have any. Oops. Public. Because without default it's private, yeah. Require this part of entity framework requires some additional libraries, unfortunately, and Studio automatically install it. Need to add couple of entity frameworks to work with database. Currently it's work, okay. So we generated very simple code for working with CRUD operation. Yeah, you can see it's just Lambda function, async Lambda function. It's async await functionality. Like I said, that .NET supported from scratch task, async await.
Сергій, мені здається, якщо ви демонструєте, як ви щось робите, то ми цього поки що не бачимо. Якщо ви в якійсь програмі це робите. Ми просто бачимо презентацію.
А я роблю, що вам все показує. Пробачте.
Okay. It's fine, yeah. So now Sergii also again will share the screen so you can see everything clearly. Yeah.
I'm working, I'm building software.
Thank you. Дякую.
Very sorry. Okay. We'll create from scratch. So, do we have time, Anastasia? Or
I think, yeah. Novita, do we have some more time? So Sergii will show it again.
Yes.
Yeah. Novita говорить, що можна починати. Час ще є,
I just wanted to show how it's simple, because currently I already created, but some of code was generated by Studio, so I didn't write a lot of code. Okay, I will be very fast.
Новіта говорить, що ще десь 40 хвилин є, тому можете не перейматися.
Ну, не 40, я ще чуть-чуть і буду вже, мабуть, завершувати. Ще пару демо і все. Думаю, нормально. Реакції немає.
Так, все буде добре. Thank you, Новіта. Thank you.
Thank you. Створюємо. Currently you see. Maybe want to share screen. Yeah, you see all screen. Okay, all screen is more useful. Okay, just to demonstrate how. Web application 4. I want to use simple web API project with Docker support and without controllers. Another way. And I'm working on Linux platform, but Visual Studio will run this on Docker container on Linux platform. So it's from scratch. You don't need any additional stuff. I hope it's important. Yeah, we clean up some code base from template. We don't need. We deleted example code. It's example of basic method for you that you can, by example, create your method. But I know more faster. Yeah, I know faster way. So we need to add entity framework libraries using a NuGet package manager. But firstly, I updated library from frameworks. Install in-memory provider for entity framework. Install relational model to support additional functionality for generated code. Okay, currently I need to declare a DB context, its main object for entity framework to connect to database. It's public. Context. Structure. It's new version of .NET allow to you to create constructor in this way. So it's maybe it. Also, you need to add this context to register DB context in a dependency injection. We need to set up connect to in-memory database. Yes. In-memory database. It's a function. Name of database in-memory. Create simple class. And that's the first approach. You create student class and then entity framework create database for you. We use a memory database, but any kind of database will work in the same way. MySQL, SQLite, Postgres database. But for this, we need to add set of and generate model where endpoint class and text. Yeah. That's incorrect generation, but anyway. Currently, yeah, you have implementation for CRUD operation using some REST protocol to your student table in memory. No, simple implementation of roads and additional calls for working with Swagger documentation. I will show how it looks, but yeah, you have get all data, get all students. Yeah, you have get students by ID. You get update students. You have create students. It's very simple method. Student sets you change and this special return result. It's more right, more complex, but more right. Main delete, also very simple. Students where execute delete asynchronous. Currently, we can run application in Linux with a memory database. It's very simple, but you have a REST service with OpenAI documentation. Yeah, Docker file for your application. You can see it's automatically generated. Documentation for your API. Currently, we have REST service. This you can use some OpenAI page to test your application. For example, you can use some. Well, complex structure, but anyway. It's created record and database. You can see it. You can see just one format, newly created records. Also, we can use it for Studio. Studio has endpoints explorer, for example. Also, you can generate requests. For example, same. We can request. Extra slash. Yeah. You can debug this REST application from Visual Studio. Okay. Stop. About OpenAI, I also wanted to send how to integrate your application with some OpenAI service. You know, OpenAPI provides you a bunch of products like GPT, DALI. GPT, it's you all know about ChatGPT. It's working with language model. DALI, it's model capable of generating detailed image from textual description. And my demo will be about DALI integration. The next, I will maybe skip OpenAI. However, you can integrate to any REST API from OpenAI with similar way. You can use HTTP client from .NET. Currently, it's quite powerful library and support automatic serialization, deserialization. I will show right now how it works. And you can use SDK to simplify maybe code base. But anyway, we will use REST API from OpenAI API sites. Yeah, maybe a lot of API provides capability to work with text generation. You see, yeah, you can work with draft document, write computer code, analyze text, and so on. An example of chat completion API, you need to currently I built very similar API to work with REST server side. OpenAI did the same. They provide you a lot of different API to work with their capabilities. It's example of chat completion. We just need to build very similar HTTP request using HTTP client in .NET, or we can use image generation. I just show this example how we can create a model picture using DALI 3 model. Yeah, I will use OpenAI and WinUI framework. I will show you maybe a ready project and just explain how it works to not take a lot of time because I can code I just create what kind of project I will use. It's such WinUI in desktop application. You can create it's maybe newer kind of desktop Windows application in .NET. It's use Fluent 2 design system and use XAML markup and use Windows App SDK version 1.5. Anyway, won't create, but demonstrate how it, like structure of this project. It's WinUI also use code behind, as you know. It's some language and class for this XAML, some language in file, and which extended by special class. So you have XAML plus this partial class. As a result, .NET Framework built full class and intermediate language. So for us, it's a custom application, but we will work with main window. Main window describes your main window application. Yeah, from scratch, it's empty. You need to add some markup for this. It's very similar maybe to HTML, but provide own system of controls. I add stack panel. I add our main control. It's items control. It's allow us to repeat image in list. And we have scroll viewer for scrolling. Item control. It's list of our image. We have progress bar to show progress when we try to get picture from OpenAI, and we have stack panel, just panel to group some item in one panel. In stack panel we have Xbox and button. Difference in UI desktop application from, for example, UWP or from WPF. They don't. It's does not provide WYSIWYG capability. You can't edit UI by your mouse. So you need to write this XAML by hand. Anyway, it's first part, just describing your interface. And second part, it's code behind, it's logic for this interface. I added several classes for utility purposes. It's needed to work with REST API on OpenAI side. Yeah, it's message item, generate item. I use the following API in description. It's request, we send model, prompt, and a size of picture. Yeah, and response, it's what return this method to our program. It's number of picture, and parameter. It's for specify what number of picture you need by your prompt. So I describe it by my hand without any additional libraries. So what we do, we can resize our windows during start if you want to non-standard size for our window. I create HTTP client. It's a standard client to work with HTTP query in .NET. It doesn't need any additional library. So they have property base address. We specify API OpenAI.com. Also, maybe useful to show you how. For working with OpenAI, you need to register on platform OpenAI.com site. It's not enough to be registered on ChatGPT. It's not enough. You need to create platform account. You need to create a secret key. Secret key requires for authorization to OpenAI using API. So you need to create key, and I use this key. I set it like an environment in console. I have this key from OpenAI dashboard. Yeah, you need this. We added as authentication header value. Yeah, it's required part. And that's it. It's serialization HTTP client. That's all we need. We just need to add a serialization header. And that's it. Also, we have one event handler. It's send button click, and that's it. What we make visible progress bar to show that we work with network for now. We get prompt from user input. The next, we use HTTP client and use methods post as JSON async. We just send our request class to this method post as JSON. It leverage internal serialization, deserialization. All this method post as JSON, read from JSON. They use internal serialization, deserialization functionality. So you don't need parse string and so on. So yeah. So we create our generation image request, which I define above. And that's it. And I want to use DALI 3. I use prompt from input size 1024. Input picture one. Also, if status code okay, it's just 200. Yeah, I get read from JSON. OpenAI API will return URL, not binary image, but URL to image. And that's it. And we just add picture to our conversation list. As I have shown, conversation list, it's item controls. It's a special widget for rendering collection. So that's it. We don't need. Also, I have else section to show error if something will wrong. So yeah, just standard desktop application, a very simple HTTP client running. It's control simple, but yeah, it's using a new control WinRT and Fluent 2. So more you know how it works. I need to prompt for picture, a morning cat, for example. You can see progress bar works. I just demonstrate that we are waiting request. Then API generate for us picture. So, I mean, cat from Ukraine. Ukraine. Let's see. So in this way, you can build any complex application. But the .NET framework covers all your needs. Yeah, just simple. Yeah. It's clear that you have implementation of this on OpenAI side in web, but you can automate it, and you can use it for your another program. You can use it for generation picture for your entities, for example, and so on. So you can do your applications. It's more attractive. It's more functional using OpenAI services. For working with different services like OpenAI, you can use HTTP client or use HTTP client is standard. You can use more powerful libraries, some third-party libraries like ResSharp or Refit. They have more syntax sugar for you. Also, you can find SDK to allow you to work with call methods instead of using with HTTP query. Can show last example. I have this example. It's just for demonstration. You can set up additional library like Vitalgo OpenAI. Unfortunately, OpenAI provides SDK only on Python and on Node.js. That's it. So you can use third-party API or third-party SDK for this. Yeah, and it should simplify a bit your logic and can look like you can create an OpenAI service instance. But under hood, the same. This extension use HTTP client. Yeah, you create using just for example how it can looks like. Yeah, we create service. You don't need to think about how to work with HTTP. So just need to run image, create image. It's need to fix my construction because I adopted it to work with HTTP base. But yeah, you use not HTTP, you use SDK, but SDK will make HTTP calls instead of you. And yeah, this program more clear and understandable, but you need to use external libraries for that. And like this. But without SDK, it also works well. But you need just to work with HTTP directly. Well, that's it from my side for today. I wanted to talk about powerful of .NET and C# and demonstrated how to build and how to fast build application using Visual Studio and .NET and C#. And that's it from me for today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Maybe someone has questions? Можливо, хтось має питання.
Yeah. You can write a question later. Maybe you're interested in something. Yeah, you can think Anastasia. I think I will share with you program. I can push it to. Interesting.
Okay, thank you for our participant. If you have any question for the speaker, please add them to the chat or you can raise your hand. Yeah, we will wait a few minutes again, Miss Asher. Thank you. First.
Sergii, we have a question.
Yeah, I see. I read.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, today I will try to answer, but today I'm talking about technical aspects of integrations and how to enhance your application. Yeah, I demonstrated technical aspects, how to do it, but not for what. So aspects from my understanding, it should help you to automate different kind of your application. For example, you can analyze your stats of behavior of your application and provide some automatic decision. For example, if you have, I know, system of feedback for your students, for customer, this integration of OpenAI to your product can provide you some recommendation for customer. Yeah, you can analyze using a language model. Yeah, you can integrate some feedback, some rates for students, for example, integrate it and provide some recommendation for some next courses, for improvement, what need to improve if you build a system for working with student educations, for example.
Okay, thank you. And we have another question from Miss Kayla. Already right in the room chat, sure.
Oh, looks like
Yeah.
very similar as previous, no?
Oh, yeah.
The strategy effectively capability with software project. Oh, you can to predict, you can to simplify user input, for example. Yeah, you can automate processing of your information, for example. It depends of what kind of software you develop and what purpose of what goals of your software or something.
Here we have one more question from Clarissa. So you can read it also in the chat.
Let's see. What are some key considerations and challenges in development application and integrating applied technologies? No, intelligence, because OpenAI cost money, yeah, and you need to effectively use this API, because another way it can be very expensive for you. So you should optimize calls and using OpenAI, because it's not cheap software and also has very strong limitation, and you need to increase tiers to use more calls. And anyway, OpenAI can restrict you in any way. So you need to use some calls to OpenAI very effectively to build your system. Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you. I think we don't have no more question again from all participants. Okay, before I close this event, for all participants, please open your camera. I will take a picture on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your keen cooperation. Finally, we come to the end of visiting lecture today. We would like to thank you for Mr. Sergii Karpenko for the wonderful information and sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for all participants. At least we hope to have more collaboration in the future. The visiting lecture for today and here. We hope to see you soon. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you for Miss Anastasia.
Yeah, thank you so much. Дякую, Сергій, що приєдналися сьогодні. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.